Hey, this is The Process. My name is Dr. John Bush. Lesson 98, Positional Targets, Part 15. We're going team by team, block by block of teams. So we're on the third block. So go back to lesson 96 to catch up here. Try to help you win your fantasy football drafts here so you win your league. Okay, let's continue my roll through here, looking at targets. And this is looking at estimated targets for 2021 using the Publix ADP as a beginning point for figuring that out. So I will show you team, position, player, and the estimated targets, and then we'll have a bar graph of this same table just for a visual look here. Okay, and again, this is public, not necessarily what I'm thinking, but it gives me a foundation, a reference class to begin my predictions for drafting in 2021. Gotta have that. Okay. So we're talking the Chargers. Eckler's back, we hope. He's predicted to get 63. Kelly and Jackson would be the 2A, 2B type, getting 30, 25 targets. They really probably are not going to come into play unless there's an injury. I guess Kelly would be the one to pick if you got to pick for an injury handicap. Handcuff. Jared Cook, 88. That's somewhere kind of a solid tight end 2 type. Parham at 41. I think Cook could move into tight end 1 late if he is used a lot in the red zone. So if he gets a lot of touchdowns, kind of like Tanyan did last year, then Cook actually could turn 88 targets into a tight end 1 season. What I mean tight end 1, I mean the top 12. Okay, not sure, but definitely he's pretty free square-ish in best ball, and I've taken him as a tight end 2, 3 type. Allen is your wide receiver 1 and is worth 186 targets. Seems reasonable. I'm taking him when I can. Usually not having to reach for him, but he won't slip too far down either. Mike Williams always figures to be better than he ends up. Maybe this is the year with a predicted 117. I'm taking Keenan Allen. I'm thinking I'll let Williams slide. If he slides too far, okay, I'll take him, but I haven't really put him on a lot of my teams this year. Okay, and this is the view of the bar graph of it, and you can see pretty much Keenan Allen is the dominant show here. Wow. And well, anyway, Keenan Allen was the show for the Chargers, and Eckler will be the quarterback. I mean, the running back there that you'll need. Okay, so let's move to the Rams. Henderson figures to get 70 targets. Jake Funk and Xavier actually is not on here, but I think the public is probably asleep on him. He's probably my second choice over Funk. So Not really looking to draft either of those unless maybe late in best ball. Henderson, 70 targets is nice, actually. And he could surprise this year. So don't let him slip too far. Higbee is 108 predicted targets. That's getting close to wide receiver 1-2 boundary there. Keep your eyes open. Could be a good streamer type. Woods and Cup are the plays. Deshaun could have, and Jefferson then could have streaky game or two. Not sure the health of Jackson, but I think it figures Woods and Cup. So I would take whichever one's a little cheaper. So if Cup's cheaper, then I would take him over Woods in my drafts. So if you look, it looks like it is Woods, Cup, Higbee, and then Henderson are the top four catchers here. And that probably makes sense. And I think that's pretty much how you should probably draft. The public would rank them that way. The Raiders. Jacobs, we thought he was going to have the whole show to himself. They brought Drake in. Looks like they're going to split the 100 targets. So that cuts both their value. Drake, I think, is a nice zero running back target late just because there's that injury, there's that flex kind of situation catching in a PPR league. So I would definitely probably look hard at him. Waller, hopefully his injury is done had a little preseason injury. 150, that's a nice set of targets. He should be a nice tight end one type for the year. Definitely should be probably the second tight end off the board. But remember, Fant is pretty strong too. So I like him as well. So he could surprise us in the top 5. Ruggs, Brown, Edwards, Renfro, they all seem to be about the same. And notice nobody's above 80 targets. That kind of sucky. We're talking wide receiver 4 types at best. That's sad. There's a lot of people there and nobody's getting the target. So the Raiders looks like it's Waller and then everybody else. And so there is a lot of uncertainty here. Be cautious in PPR with a lot of these players here, especially these wide receivers. I'm not really, if I'm taking anybody, it's probably Edwards because he's free late in best balls. And that would be the only play I would do. Here it is. Waller just towers above this field. Then we have the Ruggs Brown and Jacobs Drake. Kind of, it looks like this is this number 2 area here, and it's a little muddled as to who exactly comes out on top here. Not the way I would like to draft, not a team I would like to draft into beyond Waller. Miami, Gaskins, Ahmed, Brown. There is a lot of carving up of the targets. There's a lot of pundits that are concerned with Gaskins. I'm concerned because there's so many other running backs here that could score a target, and that just takes away from Gaskins. So how he's used in the red zone, how he's used in first and second downs, his stamina, his bulk, those are all questions I have. And I'm probably taking Ahmed and Brown in best balls late and passing on Gaskins a lot. I'll take him if I'm doing 0 RB, then you kind of take what you can take. Gasecki should be the top pass receiver of this whole team, kind of like Waller. 125, that's not bad. I think he could surprise. And if you get him as your tight end 2, I think he might give you tight end 1 appeal. Fuller was injured. I think he's got some suspension. Parker, Waddle, the rookie, Preston. Looks like it's a 3-way cut. So everybody's cutting everybody's targets. I guess Parker, if he goes after Fuller, would be my target. Waddle is the big question mark. Waddy, maybe? Waddle? Waddy? Jalen? I don't know. Anyway, Parker is who I would take late as a tight end 4. I'm sorry, running back. Sorry, wide receiver 4. So it looks like Miami's going to be throwing to these guys. Gasecki 1, and then I think one of these is to be the second target hog of the team. Lots of uncertainty about this team, so just be cautious. Minnesota should be Dalvin Cook. Matson's a good handcuff. I just don't know if he's going to get a lot of attention. He's predicted at 33 targets. I don't know. I'm kind of ho-hum on him. Definitely Cook. Smith, Conklin. They all think Smith makes his move forward. 90 targets, not bad. That's a tight end 2 type. Maybe he's a streaming option. I'm not dismissing him. I'm not reaching out to grab him either. Jefferson and Thielen should be the 1A, 1B. Probably drafting Thielen because he's cheaper than Jefferson. That would be my only thought. That you can, you get almost the same targets. So right now, that's where I'm at on those Minnesota here. If you look, it looks like the 2 wide receivers are going to be the show for Minnesota here as far as targets and passing. Smith and then Cook right here. So I think they'll dazzle us with Cook and then throw over here. And I'm just, even though Smith's predicted to beat Cook, I don't know if there's going to be enough targets if these guys get so much to go around here. That's why I'm not so high on Smith. A lot of mouths to feed here in Minnesota. New England's always a train wreck for wide receivers. Running backs. Harris figures to be the rushing catcher type. White is the catcher out of the backfield. Shoney Michel could be a good injury handcuff and might have some appeal in the red zone. I'm taking White and Michel. They're cheaper than Harris, but I'm not necessarily looking to invest heavily here. Smith and Henry. Smith should do a little better than Henry, but they cut each other's throat, and they end up being deep tight end 2 types. I guess in best ball, if you could grab both, then you can command, 120 targets, so that could be of interest. The wide receivers are always a conundrum as well. We never know what New England's doing now, especially with Cam. Not sure how long Cam's the quarterback before they go to is it Jones? The other guy. Agler, Myers, Bourne, Harry. I'm probably taking Myers because he's cheaper than Aguilar. That's it, and that's wide receiver 4 or 5 types. Here they are. Notice there's a lot right here. There's a lot of players that could catch a lot here. Agler and Myers stand out. like I said, he's just a little cheaper on draft capital to grab, and he could still be the top or the second in this whole team. So I think in a PPR league, I would look at him. New Orleans, Kamara and Murray. Kamara should dominate, and Murray should be the relief guy and maybe the red zone guy. And he may have value in the flex. So having both on my team is not a problem to me in PPR. Troutman, I think he is being overplayed here. 70 targets is a tight end 2-3 type. I'm passing. Thomas, is he injured? I mean, is this a real number? Probably closer to 100. And people are actually predicting that these guys end up at the end of the season almost on top of each other. So I have shifted this is what the public sees. Callaway's third, but I'm thinking he could be second at the end of the season. So I'm taking him because he's the cheapest of all here. So that's probably how I'm drafting. If he is, he may lose that, and Smith may end up being cheaper than Callaway. Whichever one's cheaper, that's who I'll take. And I don't know if I want a piece of Thomas. He won't be traded, and he's injured. I hate uncertainty. I mean, we have to live with it, and there's nothing we can do about it, but doesn't mean I have to be happy about it. So maybe Thomas is here. Maybe Callaway goes, and maybe Smith and Callaway are closer together by the end of the season. But it looks like Kamara would be the number 2 then. If these guys fight, then it will be maybe Thomas, Kamara. And I guess under that circumstances, Troutman would be as good as these guys as far as targets, but that's the third or fourth shot here. And Murray, is potentially in the conversation. So it's almost 5. Was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players here that could split the pie? That's never so good. Kamara's the safe play with the least uncertainty here. If Callaway's the cheapest, he could be worth a stab. The Giants, when is Saquon coming back? Is he going to be kind of rested until the third or fourth game in? I think Booker could have more value, folks, in best ball. He's a free square. I'm drafting him late in best ball. Okay, he could be a surprise 0 RB lead target. Ingram is 100. He could be on that tight end 1-2 borderline. Definitely worth a streamer. Notice Galladay is figured to be like Ingram. So he may be overplayed and Shepard may be under. So I'm taking Shepard as cheaper over Galloway and maybe even Ingram just because he's cheap and you get 70 targets here. That seems more solid to me versus Galladay and Ingram seems a little bit squishy in these numbers here. So I think I feel more confident about that than these two guys here. If Barkley's healthy, I mean, this could go up. Okay. So, but right now, I think there's uncertainty with Barkley. So, Booker could be a surprise. He may be worth your handcuff with Barkley. I think I would probably go that route. If I drafted Barkley, I would definitely want Booker. Okay, that's my end show on the block on these guys. I think I got one more block of teams here to squawk about. Come back, we're having fun.